Hi everyone, I'm Mrs. Burrow and I'm going to guide you through a lesson on London by William Blake. You'll need to pause and follow the links on the PowerPoint and I'll tell you when to do that. London is a really short poem but very powerful, and it was published in 1794 by a poet and artist called William Blake. So let's get going. First of all, I'd like you to pause this, click the link and listen to the poem London being read by Idris Elba. Thank you. Great, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that. So now you're going to read the poem on your own, making a note of any questions that arise, any words that you're not sure about. And think about, as you do it, what sense Blake focuses his reader or listener on. Okay, so pause for a moment while you read. Okay, any questions you have? I've come up with lots of questions. I'm really wondering what Blake wants us to do about this. He paints a very negative picture of London, and I'm wondering what it is he wants us to do. I also think there are words in there that I haven't got a clue what those words mean. So I've looked up some of them. So charted, I wander through each charted street. Charted can mean mapped, but it also can mean a way of defining the purposes and privileges of a public body. So it's about what you're meant to do, okay, as well as being mapped. Marks of weakness, marks of woe. Woe means really, really sad, intense sadness. And it has sort of connotations of people wailing as well. So keep that one in your head. Manacles means handcuffs. Hapless means unfortunate, and the unfortunate soldiers are sighing. Harlots mean prostitutes. So far, Blake has mentioned children, men, children, chimney sweeps, the church, soldiers, the palace, and we've got prostitutes, and we're back to babies again. Also, blights is to spoil or damage, and a hearse is a car that we usually take a coffin to a funeral in, so a marriage hearse is an interesting play on words, oxymoron perhaps. I'd say that the sense that Blake is most pushing us towards is to listen. He wants us to hear the sounds of London, cries repeated 3 times. We've got sighs, we've got curse, we've got voice, almost as if he's giving a voice to people who in society who don't normally have a voice. He seems to be suggesting that we listen to these people. So keep thinking about what Blake's message could possibly be. Next we're going to have a look at his illustrations. Blake illustrated the poems himself, all of his poems himself. And here are the illustrations that surrounded London. The first one, we've got an old man being led by a child. The old man looks completely exhausted, and the child seems to be helping him and pointing him towards the future perhaps. Maybe a little bit of hope or optimism there, and support between the old man for the old man from the child. I would say though that the old man doesn't seem to be wandering. It has much more of wandering to me is somebody having just a little a peruse around the world, looking as they go. This man is downcast, and seems a lot less optimistic than wandering perhaps suggests. Then we've got an image of a person warming their hands by a fire. That could suggest hope and comfort, or it could suggest anger and a desire to get rid of the chimneys, which could be a metaphor for the structures that contain us. And if you get rid of those structures that contain us, then we'd be free of the parameters that society sets for us. So I'd like you to pause this now and watch Mr. Bland analysing the poem. As you watch and listen, pause Mr. Bland regularly so you can annotate your copy of the poem along with him. Okay? Welcome back. I'm hoping Mr. Bland's analysis helped you to annotate your own poem, and you've got lots and lots of detailed notes now. And hopefully you're now clear about the poem and Blake's purpose. I'd like you now to choose one of these 3 tasks and spend 5 minutes completing it. Remember to send your work to your class teacher when you finish it, and while I'm saying you must choose one of them, you could do more of them if you wanted to, but there's an option there to be creative, thinking about how to illustrate the poem yourself, or to be very analytical about a paragraph about the stanza that you think is most powerful, or to look at the big picture and think, what is Blake's message and why is this being collected? Why is this poem being included in a collection of poetry about power and conflict? So pause now and spend 5 minutes doing one of those things. Welcome back. So you should have lots of ideas about the poem now. However, the more ideas you have, the better your understanding of it and the better your analysis of it, and the more comfortable you will feel when writing about it in the exam. So I've got a little clip here which lasts for about 6 minutes of some other people analysing the poem, and this should help you amass more ideas. So keep pausing this one and taking notes as you watch, okay? Finally, if you are very interested in this poem, or just interested in poetry generally, or thinking, do you know what, I want to really push myself and be the best that I can be here, follow this link to a really interesting article which is all about the manuscript, and it's sort of Blake's poem, which is in the image there, and you can see how much he's crossed out and scribbled and changed things around to try to get the poem to be what he wanted it to be and to convey the message that he wanted it to convey. It's a really interesting essay about the poem, so I'd recommend you listen to it, or read it, sorry. It shouldn't take you very long, and it should push you just a little bit ahead of the game there, and it should make you better at analysing London as well as the other poems in the anthology. Thanks for listening. Bye.